can humans maintain a conception of paradise that does not involve a longing for the beyond, which diminishes the here and now? In Christian religious consciousness, paradise has been understood as an original wholeness from which humanity has been separated. The reason for this alienation is mythologically attributed to a disobedience toward the whole. Humanity has opted out of wholeness. This interpretation might be at odds with personal experience, however, where the emergence of self-awareness in childhood in no way feels like a choice. Rather, the expulsion from childhood's wonder and innocence feels like a necessary stage toward individuation, a part of the process of becoming who one is. Perhaps one can outline the structure of this process as paradise, desert, and individuated paradise, where the journey through the desert is a wholly necessary condition of possibility for the latter, not a result of disobedience. As Jung writes, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. A recurring theme in the Christian tradition is that this original childhood can be rediscovered, not in a postmodern beyond, nor as a melancholic memory, but in the midst of the world. Paradise lies hidden in nature. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. Douglas Christie asks whether the dream of paradise, the dream of a reintegrated nature, must be cultivated in order for the dream to become real. Conversely, is the collective conception of nature as lifeless and meaningless a necessary precondition for ecological catastrophe? Maybe the dream of paradise must entail the practice of paradise. To arrive at the positive practice of paradise, a negative work must be initiated, one that removes destructive ego identifications that turn the human inward upon itself, and specifically within an ecological framework against nature as free and valuable in itself. A key component of the Christian dream of paradise is the idea of universal salvation, or more precisely, cosmic salvation. In the modern Western world, salvation is often associated with the individual's admission to heaven after death. This does not correspond to the original Christian conception, where, as the Lord's Prayer says, the vision was that heaven would unite with earth and the entire cosmos be transfigured. Salvation was thought to be a collective event, where the resurrected Christ was understood as a foretaste of the resurrection of all reality, humankind as well as nature. God emptied himself into creation, a creation that in its essence was a process toward deification. Humanity was thought of as a microcosm of the macrocosm, and as a mediator between God and the rest of creation, where the human was co-creator, a shepherd of being. Part of humanity's responsibility was to contribute to nature's process toward deification, a responsibility humanity renounced as a result of the fall. Through Christ, the door is opened to a restoration of humanity's true destiny, and such a conception of humans as cosmic gardeners may well be necessary to overcome the alienation from nature, a problem that extends far before and beyond any potential limits on carbon emissions. The fall from childhood as a precondition for a transcended, individuated childhood can thus mirror the ecological fall as a precondition for a transcended assumption of responsibility toward nature. Thomas Merton describes a hidden wholeness that exists despite the fractures that constitute our relationship with nature, and increasingly so as a result of our actions, nature itself. To reach this hidden wholeness, one must personally dive into oneself and clear away all that prevents an inner wholeness. When this wholeness is established within, one experiences reality as always already paradise. The promise of salvation is seen in time. The resurrection whispers from the future into the present. Everything is paradise because everything is in a process of becoming paradise. And this fate fuses with hope, which fuses with love, which demands an impulse to participate in the bringing forth of that which is the object of this triune structure. Thus, good works, or love for nature, follow from the belief that nature shall become what one hopes it will become. So, you have discovered the beginning and thus now seek the end. For where the beginning is, there the end will also be. Blessed are you who stand at the beginning, for you shall know the end and not taste